Hey there, AVID family. I wanted to go ahead and make this recording because if you weren't able to join us last week for the AVID Virtual Collaborative, you may not know that AVID Weekly is going to be free for all of our AVID partners starting this week, which is pretty amazing. So with that, we have a ton of online resources that are going to be opened up to partners. So what do you do with those online resources? Well, I'm going to show you one tool called Perusall that we've used with our district directors, and it's a great online collaborative tool where you can upload documents and have groups of students collaborating on the same document simultaneously. So I'm going to walk you through both of those resources today. To navigate to your AVID Weekly resources, you're going to log into your MyAVID account and then click on this blue button on the right side labeled My eLearning. That's going to take you to your Canvas course dashboard. So you'll see, if you scroll down, you have AVID Weekly and AVID Weekly Elementary. So AVID Weekly covers your 7 through 12, elementary is K through 6. So I'm going to click on AVID Weekly, and that will take you to your landing page here. This is where all of your articles and lessons live. And then here are resources for teachers specifically. So that'll help you with your lesson planning. So we're going to dive into February through June. Now, as you're looking through, there's a lot going on here. So I'm going to take us through this briefly before I jump into one of the articles. So on the top here, you have a number of articles with a lesson attached. So that lesson is specific to the article that it's matched with. And if you keep going, you'll see lots and lots of other articles. Some have lessons attached here. There's images and videos. And then here are just additional articles without a lesson attached, but obviously the strategies that are covered in the earlier lessons can apply to these as well. And if you keep going, these pro-con articles are great to use for a philosophical chairs debate with your students. This covers social studies, and you'll see here what topics are covered within the articles. But these are great to use for any pro-con debate or even a Socratic seminar. So the levels here, foundation is the lower one, so that's the lowest level here. Intermediate is middle, and then advanced is the highest. So I taught 7th and 8th grade AVID, and I stuck to mostly foundational and sometimes intermediate. Because remember, this is for 7th through 12th grade. So the advanced ones sometimes felt very much more geared towards higher level high school type of language. And then we talked about the content area being covered here. And then the critical reading process, the little check marks tell you which articles you can use if you're thinking about how to activate prior knowledge, which strategies you can use and which articles are best for those, how you're going to engage in the text. So again, which strategies and which articles are best, and then extending beyond the text. So applying the learning that they covered in the text. So we're going to take a minute to dive into one of these articles. The article that I chose to download to practice with Perusall is this blob article. I chose it because it's foundational, so I feel like I could probably use it with all of my 7th grade AVID students. And then it hits all of these markers here. So lots of ways to activate prior knowledge, engage in the text, and then it gives me an extension activity. So the lessons look like this. So it gives you what level and what focus areas, and then it tells you the entire critical reading process, which is helpful. And then if we keep scrolling, it'll give you the essential question here. How do scientists design research? It gives you a pre-reading activity, give one, get one. Now, how to do this digitally, we would need to do some work with that, but it's great that those resources are here. And then we're going to mainly be focusing on first read when we're thinking about Perusall, how to do a gist read and how to get feedback from students, and then how to do a second read or how to have students interact with a virtual text. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. It also gives you extension activities to do with your students. And then I wanted to also show you what the article looks like. So this was an update. There was a few updates for AVID Weekly, and this is one of the ones I really liked, is that they gave you more space in the margins. Now again, not relevant for our online learning, but it's really helpful when we do get back into the classroom. Students have a lot of space to interact with the text, to annotate the text, and it's nice. It's a nice visual this way too. Now that we have our article, we're going to head over to Perusall, and we're going to practice creating an account, uploading the article, and interacting with the text in a couple of different ways. And when you go to Perusall, it's Perusall with 2 L's, not 1. That's actually created a bit of confusion with some district directors, so just make sure you spell it correctly. Once you navigate to Perusall, it's really easy to set up an account. You'll just click on this Get Started, it's free button. And Perusall's free for all students and educators. So I already started a test account. So you'll create a course, and you are the instructor, obviously, and you want this for students to be able to access. So then it'll open up some fields for you to enter, and I'm just doing AVID Weekly test. And then you can choose any school, well, your school, but I'm just gonna type in my old school where I worked, and it should pop up. If it doesn't, then you can click this and ask Perusall to add it for you. So I'm just gonna say it's starting today, and it's ending, let's pretend this goes till the end of the year. And then how many students you have here, we'll say 30. And then the group size. So this is if you want your students to be broken up into smaller groups to work on the same document. It can do that randomly, or you can separate the students into smaller groups. So this is just telling me here that based on my settings, it's going to be one big group, which for me as a test is fine. So you can also look at materials here. You can request a title, or you can upload your own documents. And then you just want to certify that you are the instructor. And there we go. And it'll give you a whole tour to click through. So I'll let you do that on your own time. I'm not going to bore you with that right now. I've already uploaded our article here. I chose the Blob AVID Weekly article that we looked at earlier. The way that you can add articles is to click on Documents and add, and it doesn't have to be an article, textbook pages, web pages, any documents that you can create as a PDF and upload here will work. Now I'm going to go to Assignments, and I'm going to Edit. And I want them to read the whole thing, but you can assign certain pages if you prefer. I'm going to push out the due date here. And then here's where I can put instructions for students. So these are examples. So the first read, kind of like we looked at in the lesson associated with the article, is also the gist read. So the first read, you want them to read through the article without making any markings. And then write down what you think the main idea is. And I'm going to say on Google Classroom, if you create an assignment that they have to respond to you directly or in a thread, however you want to do that, that's just something that you might want to use. I know a lot of you are using online platforms for your students now. And then second read is to highlight 2 to 3 sentences that you think support the main idea, and add comments that will help answer the essential question, and save. All right, so now that we have some directions for our students, we're going to go ahead and jump into the article. So I'm not an expert at Perusall by any means. I don't think I'd even say that I'm really good at using Perusall, but the few times that I have used it with our district directors, it's been a great way to encourage collaboration and dig a little bit deeper into a text when you're not able to be in the same room with one another. So I'm just going to share a couple of my go-tos, but the tutorials that they have are great as well, and definitely don't overlook those. So I would recommend highlighting the title as the instructor, and this is where I put the essential question. So this is an easy reference for students. It's kind of where the essential question always lives. So our essential question that I got from the AVID Weekly lesson plan is, how do scientists design research? And that gives the students a lens of what they're looking for as they're reading. And then as students are reading, if they highlight different areas, that's where other comments can be added. They can also at each other if they want to call out another student in one of their comments. So that's how they would do that. And then one other area that I wanted to show you is the notes section. So I did mention earlier about having a space in Google Classroom for them to do the gist read and send you the main idea, or what they think the main idea is. This is another space where they can do that. They can take notes in here. The main idea is, and then they can share this with you specifically, and then you are able to see their notes. They can add new notes. They can just highlight things that are pertinent from the article that have to do with some of the notes they want to take. So this is a great way for them to annotate actively as they're engaged in the reading. So the notes section is a way for them to share with each other or share their learnings with you. And those are kind of my go-to spots on Perusall to use as an educator. Okay, that's really all I wanted to share. So again, AVID Weekly is going to be a free resource, and that's going to be released by AVID Center sometime this week. And as a reminder, if you have people at your site that do not have a MyAVID account, they can have a MyAVID account. Every single person at your AVID site can have a MyAVID account. They just have to go on to my.avid.org and create one. And then they can have access to AVID Weekly and all those amazing resources we looked at earlier. So again, this is just one way to use AVID Weekly resources in an engaging online way using Perusall. There are plenty of others, but I just wanted to share some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So one last time, thank you very much and have a fabulous day.